Greetings, this is BEIRUT and we're back for another episode of 80 Days. So we're going to travel by ferry. Oh no, he's going to be pissed. Well, there's nowhere else for me to go. Actually, you know what? We're going to spend another night in Athens, I think. I want to be able to explore a little. Athens, yeah, let's just hotel for one night. My master was not, as a rule, particularly interested in the fabulous locales and exotic cities we journeyed through. Athens was the exception that proved the rule. His sudden interest was not limited to the city. He fixed me with a look. "Do you speak Greek?" I had spent a glorious summer with a Greek contortionist who could do the most elegant whatever. I smiled. That is a very specialized vocabulary. Despite my master's grasp of ancient Greek, the demotic variant, more commonly spoken on the street, eluded him. We were reduced to asking for directions through mime, opposite quotations from Homer, and half-remembered flattery. We picked our way through the labyrinth streets of the Plaka and up to the Acropolis. Oh my god, I'm having trouble today. Acropolis. I watched Mr. Fogg as he looked up upon the Parthenon's magnificent columns. Through his lips did not so much as twitch. He looked for a brief moment, joyous. I knew it. I knew that under the icy exterior an Englishman's reserve lurked a soul. It was impossible to feign such joy. As we stood admiring the architecture, I was rudely knocked into by a small man with thick glasses. Give me a second, just turn my timer on, because I keep forgetting! I was really knocked into by a small man with thick glasses. I caught his arm in case he should fall, and he smiled and thanked me quickly. My apologies. Too occupied by the sight, perhaps, I suggested cheerfully, and the man smiled. I've seen it many times before, though yes, it is most impressive. He put out his hand to shake. Dimitri SOPHOS. I'm the owner of a modest shipping freight company based here. Then perhaps you'd be interested. You can help us. We're going around the world. He smiled and began to recite the routes and timings of his company. The one of the most interest was a boat sailing to CAIRO, which was leaving the next day. I thanked him and promised to see him in the morning. Why not? Man with sea legs, I observed. Now slick. Slick Willy. I think we're going to take that route, actually. No. Let's explore. He said the next day. I spent a few hours in exploration, learning ways in which we might travel onwards. Let's go to the market, see if there's anything we can buy or sell. Russian... Oh, well, we're going to CAIRO, so let's take that. Okay, we'll go with that. Excuse me, folks. And we'll depart. I don't want to go that way. Oh, we're going to CAIRO. I was choosing the wrong thing. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Well, we're taking that route because it's going to be a lot quicker for us. So we're going to stay in a hotel. We'll pass the night here. Before retiring, I made certain to repack and iron everything. I ran a few errands. I went out to explore. Now, let's just repack. Ready us for the upcoming departure. Now we're going to depart. We're going to CAIRO. Let's go. Okay, well, it's quick, though. It'll take like a bloody week to go the other way. All because this guy bumped into me. We found our way to SOPHOS ferry terminal in good time and waved a greeting to the owner who was visiting to inspect his fleet. "Passport out," he cried cheerfully. "You will join with me and drink some Retsina?" Monsieur Fogg lifted an eyebrow but said nothing, and I said, "That would be most enjoyable. You know what? I'm going to have some fun. Okay, I'm on a boat. I'm probably seasick." My master shook his head just the tiniest fraction before spying a local cafe and placing himself down outside it. I would not normally abandon my master, but there was something in his manner. So I went to a taverna across the way where we drank small glasses of sweet wine. It quickly became clear what our meeting was for. Listen, I could use a man like you, discreet, loyal, I nodded, recognizing the description of myself. One of the men who works with me in ANTALYA is a man named Fontaine. And he lives in Rapture. He's meant to manage the import and export of black olives, but I do not think that is all he is importing. What can I do to help? I need an outsider, a stranger, someone who cannot be connected to me with a keen eye and an honest streak, and then I meet you, young BEIRUT. Tell me, will you help me? Yeah, I want to sell that. Move that way. If that is your only concern, that is easily arranged. Well, I will do what I can, I told him, all the while thinking, oh, BEIRUT, will you ever learn to say no? Then we have a deal? What about the money? Of course, indeed. He pulled a long wallet from his pocket and laid it on the table. Tell me, BEIRUT, are you the sort of man to be motivated by money? If necessary, I am, I replied, thinking about the long journey still to come. 1,000 now, the Greek said, pushing the wallet towards me. 2 more if you report to me in CAIRO with what you find. Well, how do you know I won't take this and disappear? I took it. He slapped me on the shoulder and sent me back to Mr. Fogg, who clambered aboard SOPHOS ferry, finding some space between barrels and olives and large packing crates that smelled of fish. Soon, we were on our way. Yeah, well, he's always mad at me. Oh. We'll just wait. At least I can sell this stuff. Okay, day 17, so we have 63 days to get around the world. We're barely out of Europe. Okay, so we... Oh, wow, he is ticked. I'm gonna have to really work to make him... Yes, it could earn as well. What do you think I'm going to do? Boom, I just sold that for $4,000. Let's grab some spices. And I guess, yeah, we have made an excellent trade. Maybe you could, I don't know, not be angry all the time. Arrives tomorrow. Okay, we'll do that. We will stay in a hotel tonight. Hey, he's happier. I spent the afternoon rambling around that city, the historical center of ANTALYA, which was where I happened upon a group of Turkish dockhands unloading crates of Venetian goods into a warehouse. They had a passable grasp of French, no doubt prerequisite of working for their French employer, Monsieur Fontaine. Though we've never met him, I had found Monsieur Sophia's curious Monsieur Fontaine, after a fashion at least. Is he a good employer? I asked, trying to discover what I could, but my manner raised immediate suspicion. Why do you ask? Perhaps you are Master Fontaine. My name is BEIRUT, I protested. A likely story. That's not even a real name. A most hurtful accusation. And despite my protests, so I revenged upon them by threatening to cut their pay. They apologized quickly, and I gave a booming laugh, the sort that Master Fontaine of my imaginings would. Alas, behind this bluff exterior he had almost recently suffered heartbreak. Such a fast fellow, he was prone to making friends. Last my backstory saw me doling out banknotes to those dockhands quite haphazardly. Thus I was ensconced in my role. I spent a cheerful, if deceptive, afternoon getting to know my employees and inspecting the merchandise. They cracked open a crate to reveal a treasure trove of Venetian glass glittering blue-green in the Anatolian sun. Is this all? I demanded in some surprise. Time for a gambit. Where is it? Do not presume to trifle with me, I replied haughtily, hoping my manner would impress them, but the foreman only shook the head. This is all there is, monsieur. The boxes are labeled as olives, of course. We know all that's not what they are, but it's glass, only glass. I took a piece for myself, turning it over my palm. Indeed, it was glass. Would this news be worth 2,000 pounds to Monsieur SOPHOS? It'd be worth directing our journey towards Cairo to find out? Well, we're going to. We're going to BEIRUT. Alright, let's go! The NEFERTITI was a tall, masted Egyptian clipper that sailed around the coastline from Antalya all the way to Alexandria. I asked the skipper if he considered longer voyages via the Suez Canal, but he only laughed. The fees, young man, are extortionate. How extortionate? He gave me a pointed look. Will you not buy me or my boat? If that is your intention, my liberty is worth more coin than you have. I nodded, and we did not pursue the conversation any further. BEIRUT, beleaguered by cattle influenza. The evening drew on, and the crew served gin slings with great cheer. The captain nodding to me as the liquor was poured, "Enjoy, for as long as you were with us." I saluted him with my glass, and savored the cool drink as the sun went down in fire and smoke across the sea. Okay, now we're going to sell our eastern spices here. I apparently have a whole bunch. Railway whistle. I'm not going to buy any of that. We'll hold out onto that. Alright. Let's plan our journey. Gotta go to... we will negotiate. I'll pay him extra to leave tomorrow. Back to BEIRUT. Stay in a hotel. We found no true hotel, only a boarding house of rooms around a central courtyard in which a fountain danced and various people sat and talked in hushed tones. As I looked about, I found something suspect in every pair of eyes I met. I don't want any trouble, but the voices seemed to echo around the structure into my dreams. Knife the tall one. So much money I never have believed it. Weak as a kitten. I placed a pillow over my head and stayed put, but my eyes would not close, as though finally someone popped them open with toothpicks. Finally, I opened the door. I stayed where I was and simply listened. I'm not getting into any of this. Uttered threat after threat against my person, my master. A journey. I woke with a pounding headache and nervous twitch in one eye. I hoped it would disappear if we left, and soon. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. Alexandria. Actually, can we go all the way to Cairo? Go! We sailed once more aboard the NEFERTITI at first light, back out into the glittering waters of the Mediterranean Sea. Fogg spotted looking weary, poor guy. I went above and was surprised by the atmosphere on deck. The sailors were stretched out on the deck, enjoying a moment of calm. An hour or so later, they were swarming the rigging en masse and bringing us slowly into the bustling port of Alexandria. As we came ashore, I gasped at the sight of the towering lighthouse. I was too busy steadying myself. Gasped, blazing an incredible golden light across the water. I had understood it had long since been destroyed, but I shrugged. No doubt I misunderstood. The sailors gestured for us to follow. From the port, it was a short carriage ride to Cairo, and we arrived in good time. Okay, so let's sell that engine oil here. I'm not going to Baku, but I am going that way. Oh, I want to take this. Oh, because it takes up all that. Okay. Let's depart. Alright, we're not going to take that. Embark. Oh, no, wait. Forgot. Let's stay in a hotel one day. Damn it. I gotta talk to the Fontaine. Not Fontaine. CAIRO is attempting to modernize following the Parisian model. The result is a mishmash of tree-lined streets and maze-like souks. Of course, people do not care and most certainly do not dress like Parisians. I went looking for the Greek. In the end, he found me, creeping up as I sat dejected by the waterfront, feeling I had wasted another day on the fool's errand. "Why, young BEIRUT," he greeted me with a heavy pat on the back. "You made it." "Indeed, but with little news." He nodded grimly. "You must tell me all." I showed him the lens of Venetian glass. "This is what I found in Fontaine's shipment." He took the glass from me carefully, turning it over between his hands. "Fontaine is using my company as a cover to smuggle glass into the Ottoman Empire. Of course, it should be discovered. It is my name on the papers, my surname stamped on the boxes." He plucked his spectacles from his face and began to chew the frames voraciously. "What is so important?" I asked, curious. "Look into it if you like." I peered forward, not understanding, but as the light fell into the glass, I saw it, broke and shifted around the patterns of color that formed veins within it, constructing shapes that moved as it turned. "Have you seen the automa of the Scuola?" he asked. "I have." Beautiful machines. The patterned glass is how they think. Fontaine is selling the Scuola's work to the Ottomans and behind the guild's back. I will need to think about this. He shook himself to clear his thoughts. "BEIRUT, you've been braver than you know and more trustworthy. I promised you a reward." I pulled something from... He pulled and pressed in my hand. Not quite what I promised, but equally good. You know what? I thanked him. Actually, I opened a package as he left me, and I found it contained a small metal flower. Hundreds of tiny petals gleamed to a curving stem. It was a lily. I investigated more closely and soon found the catch to make it spring open. The flower fluttered and bloomed in my hand, a delightful trinket. I returned to Mr. Fogg, anxious to avoid any further adventure or misadventure. Let's depart. Go. We found a private driver to take us to Suez. The journey was quick enough, and the roads here in Egypt are surprisingly well maintained, and the car itself ran efficiently well. I asked the driver how she kept it so well. I did not want to tempt fate, so I crashed the last one. And we arrived without fuss an hour or so later. Alright. We have the lily. How much can we sell this for? Muscat. How much can I sell here? No, I can sell for like 8 grand. No thanks. Okay, well actually we're going to stop it here. So if you liked the episode, please click like. If you really liked it, please click subscribe. And we'll see you again next time on 80 Days.